Hi, this is Greg in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Tonight is episode 5 of Made on my MakerGear. Just going to keep the video pointed at the table tonight. It's been a few weeks since I put a video out, so I'd like to kind of catch you up on what's been going on. And then we'll zoom down in on what's in front of me and we'll talk about it a little bit. End of the school year is coming up, so that's a pretty busy time for me, getting everything wrapped up for the summer. So was busy with that. Enrolled in some more classes down at my local college for the summer term and got those well underway and they're going fine. So while I've been doing all that, been pushing stuff through my printer. Got a few larger things in the back here from PrintableScenery.com. I've got a couple custom items that I made using the customizer on Thingiverse. I've got some X-Wing ground terrain that I'll show off. I've got a planner that's pretty neat. I've got something for your Dice Master or Quarrier's dice and some more fantasy terrain that you can decorate your dungeons and stuff with. So let me get the camera zoomed in and we'll start talking about each piece. Be right back. Okay, we're back. In front of me, and from every video since the first video I've done, I've had something from PrintableScenery.com in here. Back when the first video was shot and put out, he just started delivering the Winterdale Kickstarter rewards, and since that time he's done a Winterdale 2 that he did on an Indiegogo campaign, and then he's got a current Kickstarter running called Apocalypse Ruins, which I'll talk about a little bit in a second. But we'll get down what's in front of us right here. This gray building is off the original Winterdale Kickstarter. This is the Winterdale Small Cottage, and it's on version 5.1 right now. And so what you're looking at, this is printed it in 3 pieces, and that was Coleman Striker 30mm figure from War Machine. So these are the 3 pieces that make it up. This print's super easy. The footprint is great for tabletop wargaming terrain because of the it's not too big, but it's not too small. And for your RPG stuff, you can still fit your characters inside without any issue at all. And it's 3 quick pieces to print out. This didn't take that long to print, and it came out looking really, really good. The filament I used on this one was the MatterHackers PLA Pro Silver. And with the exception of this top inch right here, because I ran out of the filament on that roll, so I changed it, right at the end of the print and switched it over to that was MatterHackers Hatchbox. I had a little bit of Hatchbox silver left on a spool, so I just finished it up on the top of this. But this right here is your PrintableScenery.com, and I'll put links to all this in the show notes on there. So if you're looking for a good piece of fantasy terrain or RPG tabletop terrain or anything like that, this is a great piece. I mean, you can pump a bunch of these out and it's not going to cost you very much money at all. The file itself, if you weren't part of the campaign, is available for sale at $7.95 US. So if you like that, jump on up there and grab it. The next 2 pieces are out of the stretch goals from the Winterdale 2 campaign. So this right here, this is the Winterdale 2 stretch goals. This is the chapel 5.1. And what they've started doing, which I really like, is you'll see this is 2 big pieces right here. If you got a printer that's only got a 6-inch print bed on it or something like, you're going, oh, I can't print that, it's too big. Now he's including files for large printers in his pack. Doesn't cost you any extra. So if you did the Winterdale 2 Kickstarter, you already know when you open it up, you have a huge ton of files on there, and some are meant for smaller bed printers, and other ones are meant for the larger base printers, which I love, and I hope this continues through the Apocalypse Kickstarter, because it is so nice just to be able to put this one piece onto the MakerGear print bed and just print it out. And look at the detail on that. This, I mean, you already know I'm a fanboy of their stuff, and it's incredible that the speed that they're putting this out and with how good this stuff looks. And this right here is this was printed with eSun PLA Pro in black. So, but right here is the chapel, and if you don't own it and you'd like to own that one, it is on his website. It's available to everybody. It's $14.95 for the file, and I'm telling you right now, you will not be able to find a piece like this for your RPG terrain for 15 bucks anywhere on the internet, already cast, already done, and you buy that file once and you just print out as many as you want. It really, I didn't need to print it with any supports. So if you look at the inside, there's no supports on there. So that's all good to go. I had a really good design on what he was doing, and you know, it printed well. So this thing looks great. I expect I'll print at least 1 or 2 more of these. All right, the next thing we got is a tower. And let me, the usual, put this ring up here, put the top on there. All right, and this one is called the Tour Cupola. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. It starts out with this nice decorative base down at the bottom. Oop. Here, we'll just leave them apart. So I printed out the base that has a dragon symbol in it on there. I think there's another base option in there that you can do also. And then for the larger base printers, I think, yeah, and this one here, I think any printer with a print bed 6 inches or better can probably do. Let me see how wide across this is. So this is 3.75 inches across on there. So even your normal printers, you'd be able to print this all out in one piece. He does have it quartered though, so that you can print it out in sections, you know, each level on there. So you got some different options here. This one had the 4 windows in it. This is my ground level with a door. And I think there's an option to put a door in there too. That's one nice thing when you buy this. You just don't get the one static file with what you have to print this, and this is all you really get. So on these towers and stuff like that, you're getting more options to do, you know, some different stuff that you want. So that's the ground floor. Just sit right down there. And then a couple different, you know, these are both the window levels. So I printed 2 of the same on there, and I can just stack these up. So like that. And then this is the ring that's going to go underneath the top. And then the top. It's right here. eSun Black PLA Plus. I print at 195 degrees Celsius at 0.2 millimeter. And if this is your first time watching your channel, almost everything I print on here is in 0.2. And I print on the MakerGear M2. You know, so if you like what you see, it's a great printer to get, and if you get one, let me know. I'll give you a shout out on the channel, and it also lets them know that people watch the channel, and you know, they make recommendations off things that they can see. You know, so if you're a war gamer, there's just no doubt that this is a company that you want to try and jump in on. Now let's talk about his current Kickstarter. It's called Apocalypse Ruins, and what's neat with this, because ever since he's been doing the fantasy stuff, I'm a World War II gamer. I play Flames of War and Bolt Action and stuff like that. 28 millimeter terrain for wargaming is expensive. You'll saw, let's see, in the last video I did the Flames of War 15 millimeter houses that I got off Thingiverse, and those are nice. Well, now he's putting out Apocalypse Ruins, which is a combination of World War II, stone ruins, and Gothic sci-fi all in one package. So, you know, for your I'm going to put a link to this because I really want you to go to this page and see what he's doing on there. But the ruins, I mean, these are beautiful. They're busted towers. There's large flat areas that you can walk through like a modular dungeon in ruins. The World War II stuff, the trench system alone in this, you know, go out and price wargaming trench terrain and see how much that stuff costs. I can give you an idea. Here's some forward trenches. This was just released by Privateer Press. You know, you get 3 trench pieces in there and a little angle. This is 20 bucks. This box right here by itself, if you want that. You know, so being able to print out, and his terrain, his trenches are more detailed with sandbags and posts. They look more like the Hearst Arts trench system on there that you can do out of plaster. But definitely go down to the show notes. I'm going to put the Kickstarter as the very first link in there, because do yourself a favor. If you have a 3D printer and you war game, you do RPGs, you need to go to this site and jump on board with this stuff. If you're thinking about getting a printer, A buddy of mine in the city, just the next city over, he's getting his printer later this year. He is all in on this Kickstarter because you see the value of what you're going to get. Not only do you get the base stuff in here, but when you go to this site and you scroll down and you look at the stretch goals that are already unlocked, so there's 15 days left of that campaign when I'm recording this video right now. You've got a Dragon Dais and Archway, a second French World War II historic house, a sci-fi Gothic Factorium and walkway modular system, a Damon Dais, Roman ruins, the Abbey, the Winterdale in ruins. So not only do you get the Winterdale stuff, but now you're going to get some of the Winterdale stuff in ruined version also. That's 7 out of the 9 stretch goals have already been filled. He still has 15 days to go. So you got a third French World War II historic house, and then you're going to have Aztec ruins at the end. And I think we're going to blow right by those because it's just more popular and more popular and more popular. So printablescenery.com, all the links will be in the show notes. Go there. I don't get anything from this website. I've just been there since the beginning, and it's completely changed how I go about outfitting my gaming table out in the living room or when the guys are here and stuff like that. I'm not casting anymore. This has replaced it all. I mean, it's so easy with a good dialed in printer like the MakerGear that you can just crank stuff like this out piece after piece after piece, and put it on your gaming table. Yeah, you got to paint it up, but you got to paint the stuff up you buy online from a store anyways, because it comes unpainted 95% of the time. So printablescenery.com, Apocalypse Ruins Kickstarter. Check them out. Do yourself a favor. And let me set up the next group of stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. The last thing I'm going to go over here is stuff that you can download off Thingiverse and print. The first 2 things you see right back here in the back are things that I made. These are paint bottle organizers. So if you've been with the channel for a while, you know I play War Machine. And War Machine does have painted figures, when you're done. Hopefully your army looks better on the table when it's all painted out. It's not a requirement, but your end goal usually if you play a hobby type war game like that is that your stuff is all painted at the end. So with War Machine, your figs come in a blister or in a box, depending on how big the unit is or something like that. Then you take and you clean it up and you glue it together. So that's one that's ready to go. Then you prime them up and you base coat them. So that's what I do with this. So this has all been primed and it's been base coated red. So now I'll start cutting in all the details of the paintbrush. And when it's all said and done, you've got a completely painted figure out there. Now, these figures are all different. Obviously, I'm not going to base coat it red and then paint it all black, but, this figure here. So what happens is because normally you're not just sitting there painting one figure, you end up with paint bottles all over your desk. And so what I did is took the dimensions of the paint bottles, found the customizer on Thingiverse, and saw somebody else that did one for some Tamiya bottles, and I said, ooh, I can do that for my Minotaur. So Minotaur is an airbrush paint, and so what happens is I made a holder right here that I can organize my paints in. So if I want to sit there and if I'm painting on two different types of models, I could do the top 10 spots for one group, the bottom 10 spots for the other until they're done. That way I know which paint I used, and at the end, when I go to log all the colors that I use for that particular unit, they're right here in front of me. They're not scattered out on my table, in a tray, somewhere else, laying all over the place. So then, because you just don't have one type of paint, Games Workshop, which does these little shorter bottles like this, and then Privateer Press, that's the people that make War Machine, have their own brand line of paint. I made one for them also. So that's what these all go in right here. So you can organize your paint, you can store your paint, and I have one more design out there which is for your Reaper and your Army Painter and Vallejo style. Actually, it's for your Vallejo and your Army Painter style bottles. So these eyedropper bottles, I have a third design up there that holds those. So I'll put a link to them on my page on Thingiverse, and you can go on there, you can download them. They're marked so you can sell them if you want. I sold a bunch of them to the local guys here, and feel free to sell them. You know, get yourself some more filament. Nobody's going to buy a house selling this design right here, you know. So that's, you know, something I appreciate on Thingiverse is people that let their designs be sold, because anybody that has a 3D printer knows you cannot crank out enough volume of this type stuff that you're going to buy a car, you're going to buy, you know, the best thing I hope for when I sell some of the things is that I buy filament so I can print more stuff. You know, that's where all my money goes. It goes right back into the filament, you know, an LED light, you know, for the channel on there, you know, so it's cheap, you know, stuff on there. So this is there. You're free to do with it what you want. Remix it up, sell it, you know, have a good time with it. But it is a pretty handy organizer. So the guys that have got them, they do like it. The next thing I want to show you is this. Out back in my yard, I've got something called earth boxes. And basically what the concept is, it's a box that's plastic on the bottom, and then it has another layer that sits on the top. And so that layer that sits about at this level in the box is where all the dirt is, and then I have tomato plants, pepper plants, jalapeno plants, and all that other stuff through 4 or 5 of the boxes in the backyard. And what happens is that the bottom of the box holds 5 gallons of water. And so that little suspension that goes above it allows the roots to go through and tap, and the plants have unlimited water all day long. And I live in Florida, so it is hot. It is blistering hot right now down here. So what I wanted to do was find some for herbs, and lo and behold, if you go to Thingiverse and type self-watering flower pot, you get all kinds of designs. So basically this is the same principle. So this is the reservoir right here. This is where your water is going to go in, and then this piece is where I'm going to put the plant, and it slides down like that. So what I do is I put water in here, and I just keep it, you know, with water in there, and the plant can pull the water as it needs it, as much as it wants, depending how hot it is and stuff like that. And so what I did is that here's one right here. You know, I've got sweet basil in there. That's where I put the water in. And here's the plant. The plant smells great. It looks great. I can keep it right on the counter. It's small enough to move around. You'll see the different sizes. This is what the original file size looks like. A little bit tight for the plant that you get down at Lowe's or Home Depot on there. So what I did is I scaled it up to 125%. Didn't have to change the model at all. All I did is in my slicer, scaled it from 100 to 125, and boom. Now I got a little bit chunkier, you know, pot to put my stuff in, but still, this is pretty neat. So if you've got a 3D printer and it's a small footprint, I'll put a link to the self-watering plant that I'm using the pot that I'm using right here. This is great stuff, you know, and again, this is a Creative Commons attribute, and you're free to, when you sell the file, sell what you make out of it too. So Thingiverse has changed the thing. Whenever you download a file on there, it's going to tell you exactly what you can do with it. License Creative Commons, license for attribution. That means I give credit to the person that did this pot, and the person that did this pot is NAdams810. And so what I've been doing is the people that I feature their stuff on Thingiverse, I like to send them a message, and then I take a picture of what I printed and I put it on there as a made item, you know, and just let them know, hey, I've featured your product on this video, you know. So hopefully that gets them more hits, more links, more people talking to them and things like that. But you know, I'm going to try and feature more people that are releasing their designs to the public to do things that they want to, because again, you're not going to buy a BMW printing this pot on there. And again, it's a flower pot. The next thing, let me pull this back a little bit and we'll move these around. This right here is X-Wing Miniatures Ground Terrain. And all this stuff was created by a guy named Jabberwock. And again, he'll get his link in here. And this is really nice stuff. If you've never seen the game X-Wing Miniatures, it's your typical X-Wing, but it's a game that you play on a 3x3 area. Most of the games were played in space. But as the last movie shows, you know, they fight, you know, inside the atmosphere too. So people started making ground terrain for this game, and there are some rules out there for this stuff that fans have made up so you can use it. So my local store asked me if I could find anything, and sure enough, Jabberwock put his stuff out, and he put it out there with a Creative Commons attribute license on there. So I was able to print off 2 sets for my local store. It got me another roll of filament for free. Well, not free, but the price that he paid me paid for another roll of filament, that I got off Amazon. So that's what I do with this stuff. So this is great stuff, and even, so we've got, this is a reactor on there, and if you look at the scale, so this is scaled for X-Wing. So when it sits on the playmat on the 3x3, this is terrain that they'll navigate, and there'll be rules and stuff like that. If you've never seen this game before, it's made by Fantasy Flight Games. Just Google search them. This is another piece from the game. And what was really neat is that he made a hangar for the shuttle. So this right here, a landing pad. So this right here, and you got that circle in the middle, and you're like, oh, that's pretty neat. Well, he thought he thought about that little nub that sits right down there. So this sits right on that hangar pad. Yeah, this is a great piece. And this is another piece from the game. Yes, the wings, they unfold when, they're in flight mode, just like they do. But, when you're folding up the land, this is great. Even if you're doing an RPG, a Star Wars RPG, this is not, these miniatures are not that expensive. It's about $10 for the X-Wing, less than 20 for the shuttle. That you can use this stuff in your RPG games. It doesn't necessarily, you're going to put your 28 mil fig by it, but as an overland, hey, this is where we're going. It may be something to put down there, but he did the comm array. This is a nice piece. This is a hangar. So it's about as wide as that X-Wing is. Storage tanks. And then this is a little comm, like a little relay station. And then this right here is where you would have troopers in. This is kind of like a fortified bunker. And then these, I just saw these are ground vehicles, that are in scale, so that, that ground vehicle will be parked right up against this stuff here. So, again, Jabberwock did a great job with this stuff. I'll put a link to his stuff in the show notes. But if you play X-Wing miniatures, there is terrain out there freely available to you. You can just download it, print it off on your printer, paint it up if you want, and put it out there, so you can make your tabletop look really good, than just fighting on a blank black star mat on there. So, good stuff. Next thing I got to show is this right here. So, I got a text the other night from my buddy up in Tennessee, and he said, hey, can you print me some Dice Master cases? I said, okay. And he sent me a picture to the Thingiverse link, so he went out and found it. And so I kind of looked, I was trying to figure out, from the picture what was going on, and I was like, oh, okay. So Dice Masters is kind of like a collectible dice game, where if you've ever played Magic the Gathering, or a game where you build a deck of cards and then you take that deck of cards and you compete against somebody with it, similar principle with the Dice Masters, except you're using dice. And so what this is right here, instead of bringing your deck of cards, you're going to bring your dice with you. Now, it does have cards that go with these, but you're playing with the dice. So I don't have Dice Masters. I have Couriers, same size dice, similar dice like this. But what this allows him to do is load this up and basically put them in a cassette like this to either store them. Let me get this in here. I missed the track. Just a second. There we go. And then they'll sit right in there, and you can either stack them up for storage, so you could put, they're usually theme sets. So you might have Avengers, you might have Fantastic Four, you might have the D&D fantasy sets, and so you can put all the dice you own in there. So I printed off a couple of these for him. These were created by Memento Mori, and he published these in January of this year. And he licensed these under the Creative Commons attribute share alike license. And so if this is something your guys got locally, now this does take a little while to print. They're not quite as because with your printer, you know, you're going to charge for your filament and time, you know, so this does, you know, one of these cassettes printing the top and bottom will run about 3.5 to 4 hours. So somebody wanting a bunch of these, they really should have their own printer. Somebody wanting just a few of them, it's not that bad. Price wise, it's not that expensive, but you know, if they're coming and they want 20 or 30 of these things, you know, that could get it kind of expensive. But you know, for this right here, yeah, just a couple bucks. Here you go. There's your cassette. They slide right in there. There's 2 different sizes. You got this one here that holds 40 dice in it, and then there's another one that holds 20 that I'm not sure if it's the same publisher or not because I haven't printed one of those yet. But again, this is for your dice masters. This is to hold your dice so they don't fall out and fall around, so you can take them with you. All right. And the last stuff. All right, 28 millimeter tables for your fantasy RPG. These are done by Curfin. This is the guy that did the design, one of the people that did the design work on the 1.25" dungeon tile system, which did go commercial. They're calling it TrueTiles. I'll put a link to the Drive-Thru RPG area where you can purchase those, and there's a video that talks about them. I've already bought them. I just haven't put them up on the printer yet. I'm trying to finish out this roll of black because I want to print those in gray. But this here was left over from my last video that I shot that I don't think ever made it into the video. But he does 28 millimeter tables. These things look great. There's a few different designs. So you have some top designs that have like those bars going across the top, and you have a couple different pedestal options for the bottom. So you can do the center post pedestal, or you can do like a square pedestal on the bottom, and then the top you can have it just wood grain only, wood grain with those strips going down each side. And so these are really nice. You know, this guy does great design work on there, so I'll definitely put a link to his. These are Creative Commons attribute, non-commercial, so these are for your use only and not to be sold. So that's Curfin stuff. He's got a great, I mean, the guy's got a lot of talent. They're putting out some really good stuff on there. I'm excited to print out those TrueTiles. I know that the friend of mine that showed me to a DM Misha over there, you know, he believes by these tiles something fierce on there, and I'm kind of coming around on it, not so much for the tile size, but for the wall height, the way they lock together, and just a general look of them. You know, so from first glance, they're nice. You know, they're really nice. It's just something different. You know, so not everything has to look like a dragon lock tile on the board. And Printable Scenery looks like they got their own modular tile system coming out. And I've been in contact. I've had a couple people from, you know, out in the viewership wise that have sent me prototype stuff that they're working on to do test prints and send them pictures with. So I'm hoping to keep getting that stuff from them. There's a guy in the Philippines who sent over a really nice design. He's going to go back and do a few tweaks on it now that he's seen an actual printed sample of it on there. But the thought process is right, you know, and I just got an email today from somebody talking about their own designs, you know, they want it to fit in with a dragon lock. So lots of options out there for the RPG, you know, area when it comes to modular dungeons on there. The TrueTiles systems, I saw a couple preview screenshots of what's coming next, and I really like what I saw. I'll absolutely buy it on there. I like supporting the guys that support the hobbies that I like. So, and really the TrueTile, it's $10. It's $10 on there for those STL files. You know, they're non-commercial, so they're for you. They're for your gaming group to print all that stuff out and throw it on the table on a Thursday night and go to town. But you know, if these guys put the stuff out, support it. You know, don't pass the STL files around if they're non-commercial on there. You know, it's $10. You know, that puts money, that keeps them going. You know, you want to see expansion pack 3, 4, 5, and 6 down the road, keep buying their stuff. You know, and that goes with everything. The supporting printablescenery.com with the Apocalypse Ruins Kickstarter, you'll never find a better deal out there for your money. For what you're going to get from that Kickstarter alone is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of stuff. You know, that I can't even fathom what it would cost to buy all that stuff pre-done. You know, for those, you know, this is a niche channel anyways, you know, that you guys, you ladies that do watch this channel, that do print this stuff, you know, you're already on the cutting edge of it. You already see the benefits of this stuff being able to be put on the table. So, you know, it's a good video, and it's been a good night on there. Hopefully it's going to be another 40-minute one probably, but if you're all the way here to the end, I do appreciate it. My next video is going to be the 6-month review of the MakerGear M2. So I'll pull it off from the side here. We'll take a really good look at what it looks like and what I think about it after 6 months of using this. And, you know, you guys are seeing the videos. You're seeing the content that's coming off this printer week after week after week, video after video. So I think the quality speaks for itself. I think the printer is speaking for itself. It does deserve your look. You know, if this is in your budgetary means, to me, this is the printer you buy. If I was buying another printer right now, you know, and I still had that same $2,000 budget, you know, I'm buying a second MakerGear, and that seems to be a trend when you look at some of the I'll tell them the pro guys from the MakerGear board have anywhere from 3 to 6 of these things. It's absolutely crazy, but you know, they're doing some real commercial work. I got it as a hobby, stuff to put on the channel, stuff to fill my gaming table. No regrets at all about spending the money on this. And you'll make a little bit of money on the side to keep putting filament through your machine. So, and that's, in the end, that's what we all want anyways, to be printing with the printer. So I thank you very much for watching this video all the way to the end, if you're still here, and all the new subscribers that have subscribed to the channel. And I appreciate getting the messages from you guys. So thanks again, and I'll see you in a couple weeks with a new video.